What is up, everybody? Today is Wednesday, January 15th. I actually ended up with 2 scalps today. I didn't really have much time to trade, so I took just some quick scalps. They were 1-to-1, but let's get into the trades that you could have taken today. So overall, on the 4-hour time frame, I did come in with a bullish bias. We did have a news drop in pre-market. I don't remember exactly what it was right now off the top of my head, but regardless, we came in bullish. Overall, even before that news drop, I was very bullish over the fact that we were holding this 4-hour imbalance right there. As you can see, price came down, almost touching this draw on liquidity, which I think is still the draw. And then it came up and created this imbalance right there off of the open on Monday. And you can see that we came back into it on Tuesday, hung around in this area, but overall held that 4-hour FEG. So I was expecting to see price move higher and actually take out this imbalance right here. So if you got a 10 o'clock close above that, pretty obvious that we're going to continue moving on higher, especially to this high right here, because we did miss that. And then the next draw would be these relative equal highs right here. And ultimately, I wanted to see a tap into this 4-hour fair value gap. So with that, at 10 o'clock, you come in with a bullish bias. You're just looking for bullish setups. So if you were already bullish from the start, obviously you can get your first trade in here in the second quarter of quarterly theory. You know, we end up getting this accumulation. We manipulate lower off of this pump on here. Now, I didn't take this, even though I was drawing this out, only because there wasn't a deep enough retracement down into into discount at all before any move higher. So I just wanted to wait and see what price was going to do, especially at the 1050 macro, or the 950 macro, sorry. As you can see, here is the 10 o'clock open, and you want to see price drop below that to then continue moving higher if we are to be bullish for today. And as you can see, right, price does exactly that. It drops lower and then moves higher because it opened up and barely put in any kind of lower wick. Now, usually there is a pretty big wick, and that's why I took these short setups. The first one was there was no macro here, the first one. It was really just the fact that I saw that we were moving on up here in Q4, starting to slow down. And then we invalidated this 1 minute imbalance right here. I figured this was probably going to be a good time for it to finally come down, since we were going to start Q4 for this mini session right here. Right, this was the manipulation, this was distribution, and then this was going to be the either the retracement to go higher or the complete reversal. So I actually market ordered in once we got that invalidation, and I saw that we started to move back on higher here. Put my stop above the swing high, and I targeted a 1-to-1, even though it has a 1-to-1.68. I actually took my profits at 1-to-1, and as price was just continuing to just kind of taper off here slowly, I noticed overall we were respecting bearish imbalances. As you can see here, there is one more where is it? Right here, this bullish fair value gap right there gets invalidated with this candle. I actually market order in right next to it. A little late on the fill too, right? It really should have been up here. But regardless, my stop loss was up here. And I wait for price to tap a 1-to-1. It was right under the 10 o'clock open because, like I said, I wanted a more significant lower wick to get formed. And once we got that, you know, that was it for me. These 2 trades were the only green trades that I took. Now, remember, we came in with a bullish bias and we wanted to see bullishness. So you look for a bullish setup here at the 1050 to 1110 macro. And there was really nothing that stood out because 1050 was right here, right? If I wanted to see any kind of bullish setup, I would have wanted this FEG right here to have gotten invalidated. We tap into it and then reject off of it. We end up getting another FEG right here. Price comes on up, taps into it, rejects, taps, rejects. And then at this point, you know, at 1110, the macro's over. So we're not looking for any kind of setup at that point. 1150 to 1210 macro. What do we see? We have a bearish imbalance right there. Price comes, sweeps out these lows. It also taps into OTE off of this price leg right here that we're trading within. And it starts to reverse. And we actually have a Q4 reversal cycle where it could happen too. So all of these things were starting to line up. And as you can see, we get the invalidation of that imbalance. Once that happens, you market order in, put your stop below the low, and then you target a new high of day. You can target the imbalance up here. Obviously, we didn't hit that today, but taking off the majority of your profits here at a new high of day would have been a 1 to 1.7. Solid trade setup. Nothing else needed. A 1 to 1.7 is a good trade. Now, the next one you could have taken would have been between the 115 and the 110 to 140 macro. There was a bearish imbalance right there, very tiny, very, 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 very tiny right there. Or you could have taken the invalidation of this one, right? We had a weak closure above, but price comes down, comes back up. Could have taken it right here with your stop below that swing low right there, and then targeting, like I said, a new high of day. That would have been a solid setup. And then this one was a little bit after the macros ended, but still in like pretty darn close. You could have taken the invalidation of this inversion right there, or that bearish imbalance, put your stop below the swing low, and you could have put your stops to break even at the new high of day, since the risk to reward wasn't really that great. And you could have targeted a 1 to 2, which it very easily hit right there, and then kept some runners to try to hit higher, but obviously that would have gotten stopped out at break even. But regardless, if you were looking for bullish setups, here was a very good one, here was another good one, and here was another one that you could have taken. Even if you missed all of this, we saw this one right here. If you were early bullish and you had a very strong conviction that it was going to go higher, I wanted to wait for after 10 to get that validation of that candle. I played a little more safe because obviously we've had news events where we end up getting a huge pump like that, and then as soon as the market opens, we dump completely. So that can definitely happen. Hopefully you guys ended up green today. Tomorrow is another news day, I believe. We have some really good news this week, a lot of good volatility. So I hope you guys are ending up green on these days, and yeah, we'll see what it brings. Take care, everyone. Peace.